Is it he walked in the shop or he walked into the shop? And is it she put her keys on the table or she put her keys onto the table? I get so many students asking me questions about prepositions, and these ones, in, into, on, and onto, always cause confusion. More confusion than most. So let's learn how to use each one clearly and simply so you can stop guessing which preposition to use, speak more naturally, express yourself more clearly, and reach an advanced level of English. And listen, you're about to see that prepositions are actually quite simple. Are you ready? Before I explain the difference between all of these prepositions, you first need to understand something really important, and that's the difference between position and movement. So if I ask, where is the boy? I'm talking about position. He's here, he's there, he's in the shop, okay? Position. But if I ask, where is the boy going? That is about movement or direction. He's running to the shop. He's driving to the museum. There's movement and there's direction in that answer. And that concept between position and movement is really, really important when we are going to look at the prepositions we're looking at today. By the way, if you're new here, I'm Greg. I make English grammar simple and help you with British English pronunciation so you can speak English clearly and understand native speakers easily. And you can now download the latest edition of my Quick Fix magazine. It's a prepositions special, and it's going to help you really understand and learn this grammar in context. You're going to see it used in a short story, and you will also learn some very common phrases and chunks that will help you speak more fluently. It also includes some activities that will help you learn and remember this grammar. To get the magazine, just click up there, scan the QR code there, or click the link in the description. Then you only need to enter your name and email address, and I will send it to you immediately. And I will also send you each new edition of the magazine so you can keep taking your English to an advanced level. And it's free. Okay, let's start with the preposition in. We use in when we're talking about position, static position, okay? Not moving, but static. And this usually means when something is already inside something else. For example, the phone is in my bag, okay? It is surrounded by something else, with borders, with edges. It's inside. My phone is in my bag. She's in the bathroom. I live in Spain. And when something is in a place surrounded by borders, we use in. Okay, but the key thing is you're describing where something is. No movement. Now, when we use into, we're describing movement. And not just any random movement, like my phone is vibrating in my bag. No. When we talk about movement, we are talking about movement from the not in position to the in position. For example, he walked into the room. At the beginning, he was not in the room. Then the movement happened, and then he was in the room. And to describe that movement, we use into. He walked into the room. Pour the milk into the cup. Again, at the beginning, the milk is not in the cup. The milk is in the jar. But after this action, the milk goes from not in the cup to in the cup. So we pour it into the cup. She jumped into the pool. Again, at the beginning, she is not in the swimming pool. And after, she is in the swimming pool, and this movement from not in to in, we use into. She jumped into the pool. So it's all about movement. Something is going somewhere in. Okay, so now you know that, the next one will be much easier. On. Right, we use on when we're talking about, again, a static position. No movement. And if you've seen my video on in, on, and at, which you can watch up there, you will know that we use on to talk about flat surfaces. Okay, when something is resting on a surface. Okay, like the book is on the table. You've got some chocolate on your shirt. I left the keys on the bed. Okay, you're describing where something is. It's on a flat surface and there's no movement. Now, compare that to onto, where we're describing the movement from not on to on. He jumped onto the sofa. Okay, so at the beginning, he was not on the sofa. At the end, he was on the sofa. So to describe the movement, he jumped onto the sofa. The cat climbed onto the roof. Again, the cat was not on the roof, and then the cat was on the roof, so the cat climbed onto the roof. I threw my bag onto the bed. At the beginning, my bag was in my hand. At the end, the bag was on the bed. So to describe the movement from not on to on, onto. I threw my bag onto the bed. Okay, remember you can download the magazine and see all of this in the context of a story. It's free. It really helps make all this stick in your mind. All right, let's have a look now at the preposition out of, which sounds a little bit more tricky, but it's really not. It's as simple as the other ones. Okay, and we use out of when we're describing movement. And this is the movement. When something at the beginning is in something, and at the end, it is out of something. Okay, so it's the movement of inside to outside. For example, she ran out of the house. At the beginning, she was inside the house. At the end, she was outside the house. So she ran out of the house. Take your phone out of your pocket. Again, at the beginning, your phone is inside your pocket. At the end, it is outside your pocket. Take your phone out of your pocket. And he jumped out of the car. Again, at the beginning, he was inside the car. At the end, he was outside the car, and this movement is out of. He jumped out of the car. Okay, so basically, this movement is leaving an enclosed space. Okay, I've got a very quick test for you, but before I show you the question, if you want to take your English to an advanced level, and if you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe. I have so many more videos coming in the next few weeks, and if you want to master English grammar in a very clear and simple way, I will help you get there. But if you don't subscribe, you'll miss my future lessons. So click that button. Okay, let's have a look at this test. Which is correct? He walked in the room, or he walked into the room? Well, the answer is he walked into the room. Okay, because he was outside and then moved inside. And because there was movement, we use into. He walked into the room. If not, if you say he walked in the room, you're simply saying that he was in the room and started walking, but he didn't move from out to in or from in to out. Okay, during the moving, during the walking, he stayed inside the room. So you can say he walked in the room, but there's no movement from in to out or from out to in. Okay, so let's have a look at the beginning where I said he walked in the shop or he walked into the shop. Well, same idea. If you mean he entered the shop from outside to inside, then use into. He walked into the shop. The second question I asked at the beginning of this video was, she put her keys on the table or she put her keys onto the table? This one is a little bit trickier. You see, both are grammatically correct, but there's a small difference in focus. You see, she put her keys on the table. This is actually the most natural choice because the focus is where the keys ended up, on the table. And this is what native speakers almost always use, on. Okay, but she put her keys onto the table. This is also correct. As I said, there's movement because the keys were not on the table and then they were on the table. But this sentence really emphasizes the movement of placing them, okay, of putting them there. And normally with the verb put, we use the static preposition because the focus is usually on the final position. Okay, put it in the bin, put it in my bag, put them in the wardrobe. Okay, the emphasis is on that final position. We know there's movement because put is kind of a movement verb. It's the same for other verbs like throw, place, chuck, pop. Pop is an informal word for put. So all these verbs that mean put, we often use the static preposition in or on and not the movement preposition into and onto. Okay, I'm going to give you a quick summary of what we've learned here, and then I want you to write one sentence in the comments using one of the prepositions that we've looked at today. Okay, I can't wait to read your sentences. All right, let's have a look then at the quick summary. If there's movement, use into, onto, or out of. And if there's no movement, use in or on. And with verbs like put, we normally use in or on, even though they involve movement, simply because we usually want that emphasis and focus to be on the final position of the thing that you are putting. Okay, so now you know how to use these prepositions clearly. Why not keep learning prepositions and master in, on, and at? That is one of the most popular videos I've ever done, so I highly recommend you watch that. And don't forget to download the new edition of the Quick Fix magazine. Thanks for watching and bye for now.